In October 2015, GQ published one of the most revealing Taylor Swift interviews ever printed, not because it exposed a secret, but because it showed the cost of explaining herself in public. Taylor answered questions about gossip, bad blood, Kanye West, self-awareness, and the accusation that she was calculating. Again and again, she tried to separate professional intention from personal manipulation, and again, the interview turned that explanation into more evidence to interpret. My argument is not that one magazine interview made Taylor stop talking. The record cannot prove that. But GQ sits on a clear boundary. Before it, access often meant opening the door and explaining the story. After it, access became more selective, more authored, and more tightly connected to the work itself. To see that boundary start before 2015 in a 2009 Time interview, Taylor was asked how she balanced her personal and professional life. Her answer was strikingly open. The two worlds bled together. A private moment could become a song even on her rare day off. That was not a side effect of the brand. It was the creative model she was describing in real time. Listen to how directly she put it.
Finding balance between my personal and professional life is kind of interesting because they bleed together. You know, I write songs about the guy that sat next to me in class in 10th grade, or the person that I saw yesterday that we made eye contact for a split second, but it was enough to inspire a song. And for me, I just try not to get too territorial about what's personal time and what's professional time.
That openness scaled with her career. By 2014, the relationship was not only confessional songwriting, it was physical access. In an ABC interview, Barbara Walters asked about fans being invited into Taylor's homes for the 1989 Secret Sessions. Taylor explained that she wanted fans to hear the album long before release, in a setting built around trust. This matters because the pre-GQ Taylor did not simply answer questions. She made access part of the storytelling architecture. Then came GQ. The canonical interview, published October 15, 2015, was written by Chuck Klosterman. Taylor told him that refusing to name the subjects of songs made her feel as though she still held, quote, one card. She admitted the feeling might not equal real control, but the boundary itself mattered. Later, she said that if enough people repeated the same idea about her, it became fact in the public mind. So she monitored themes and coverage. That is unusually candid. She was not claiming indifference. She was describing active cultural self-awareness, and she explained why. Watching behind the music as a child had convinced her that losing self-awareness was the first step toward losing relevance, ambition, and great art. In her words, it was less about reputation management, strategy, and vanity than desperately preserving self-awareness. The interview's central tension arrives with one loaded word. Calculating Taylor did not deny planning. She asked, quote, "Am I shooting from the hip? Would any of this have happened if I was?" But she objected to professional care being recast as a sinister fact about her personal life. Her conclusion was blunt: accidents happen, but careers take hard work. That should have clarified the distinction. Instead, the article immediately observed that any attempt to look less calculating could look even more calculated. This is the trap. If she plans, the planning is suspicious. If she explains the planning, the explanation is suspicious too. The bad blood exchange tightens it further. Taylor said she had described the song as losing a friend because she did not want an ex-boyfriend or his family to think she was attacking him. She insisted she had not pointed at a specific person. The interviewer replied that nobody thought the song was about a man. Her boundary remained technically intact, but public consensus supplied a name anyway. GQ did not invent that problem, and this is not an argument against hard questions. It documented a structural problem. An interview can offer facts, yet still expand the mythology it is trying to clarify. Even the article's access becomes part of its thesis. We see Taylor at lunch, in transit, on the phone, and at home. The more ordinary detail she offers, the more material there is to decode. The next year complicates any simple stop doing interviews story. Taylor still gave Vogue a 73 questions tour of her home in 2016, but the format was visibly controlled. One publication, one house, rapid questions, and a finished visual concept. Then the public rupture around the edited famous phone call changed the stakes. In 2019, Taylor told Vogue that mass public shaming was isolating and that she had needed to restructure a life that felt completely out of control. Most importantly, she gave a precise reason for doing no interviews during Reputation. She could not figure out how she felt from hour to hour. Silence was not presented as a stunt. It was a refusal to freeze unstable feelings into permanent copy. A 2019 CBS interview makes the shift audible. Asked whether keeping quiet during Reputation was hard, Taylor connected that quiet directly to her relationship with media and to intense fears she was trying to process.
So was it hard to keep quiet during Reputation?
No, because I was just in a very different place in my life. And it was in terms of my relationship with media and my relationship with, I had a lot of very, very intense fears that I was trying to deal with. And
Like?
oh, how long do you have? My God. We really don't have that long. It's a lot. Everything. Everything that wasn't my quiet, cozy, wonderful little world that I had carved out for myself, that I'd been living in for years.
You were that scared.
Yeah, it was just, I think it happens to people. I think people become stifled by things that happen in their lives, and that's just something that I went through.
By 2023, the door was not closed, it was curated. Taylor chose a milestone time interview and spoke at length, but from a position where the project, timing, images, and historical frame were unmistakable. She said she had been raised up and down the flagpole of public opinion for 20 years, given a tiara, then had it taken away. She also said she was more trusting than 6 years earlier. That is not permanent retreat. It is selective re-entry. The pattern is more interesting than a celebrity simply becoming private. Taylor moved from explaining each controversy inside somebody else's frame toward choosing fewer, larger frames, an album without interviews, a documentary, an authored essay, a commencement speech, a designated legacy interview. The songs still reveal. The public statements still matter. But access becomes an editorial decision rather than a standing obligation. That is why the 2015 GQ interview feels like a boundary. It captures the old bargain at maximum intensity, extraordinary candor in exchange for a chance to clarify the record. It also shows why that bargain could fail. Every clarification created another sentence that could be isolated, doubted, or converted into lore. The point is not that Taylor stopped telling her story. She still tells it, she just became more deliberate about when she speaks, where the story appears, and which parts remain private. In plain terms, she did not disappear. She stopped letting everyone else decide when, where, and how she had to explain herself.